This week, we're saying something on the podcast that's been said before. It's crazy how in football, 1 week can change the whole narrative of the league. Coming up next on the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast. Hello, welcome to the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast. My name is Oz Davis. I'm the co-host of the show. Joining me, as always, is my co-host Joe Pritchard. Joe, how you doing this week?
We're here. The playoffs don't feel like a distant thing anymore. We're getting closer, so let's get the show on the road.
Even from the Winnipeg fans' perspective?
I mean, we're alive, aren't we?
Yeah, but I think the playoffs may seem a little bit further away for some folks. I guess the crossover is still alive for Winnipeg, right?
Well, I mean, right now they're third, so things happen, right?
Oh, I know. But we also saw some football this week. And for me, anyway, that really changed my perspective again on this league. It's amazing how absolutist you can get on, say, Friday, and then 3 days later, your total feel on the league has changed. Although, if you're talking about CFL Pick'em, the feel is always slippery.
I don't even want to talk about Pick'em right now. I stopped keeping track. I might be 500 this year. It's by far the worst I've ever done in Pick'em, so.
Really? Wow.
Well,
usually
sure.
It's a 50-50 proposition anyway.
Well, I'm usually batting somewhere around, 2 out of 3 usually. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I never.
Somewhere in the 60-65% range where it's comfortable, but not like, oh my God, I'm nailing everything. And this year it's like, maybe I'll get half of them right this week. I think I had 1-4-0 at one point and 1-0-4, and then mostly it's just been the mushy middle for me.
Right. 2-2, 1-2.
Yeah, things like that.
Okay. Well, let's do the recap as we like to do on this show. Probably my only good pick of the week was the under on this first game. Montreal Alouettes 21, Toronto Argonauts 19. This was my favorite game of the weekend, Joe.
I'm sure it was. I actually went heavy Montreal this week in fantasy, and that didn't work out very well at all.
Well, no, not great. You didn't have Montreal defense? No, you never buy it.
No, I don't buy it. I don't buy high-priced defenses, no. But I was just banking on Toronto's defense being just nothing, and they were enough. So I'm sure I lost. I haven't even looked. After that, after seeing how that all played out, I'm like, yeah, I've lost. I'm not even going to look.
Well, I mean, if you didn't have any BC Lions, yeah, you probably lost.
Yeah.
Nathan Rourke won you the week this week, basically.
Mm-hmm.
In any fantasy league, I'm sure. Well, in this one, I mean, again, I enjoyed the game. This to me looked like Alouettes football of the good old days. And by the good old days, I mean like week 3, week 4 this season. And the 2 seasons previous to that. I mean, this game started off with McLeod Bethel Thompson throwing 2 interceptions in the first 16 minutes, both on the Montreal side of the field. But happily, Toronto could not score a touchdown. And in fact, they couldn't score too much at all. I feel like the Argos, the Argos literally did not score until there was 0 seconds left on the clock. Oh, no, that's the Winnipeg game. Yeah. The Argos did not score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. Of course, Jake Henslow scored the touchdown. Real surprise there. That's his 7th in 4 games. So not too much. I guess even Montreal can take pride in that because we held Henslow to 1 touchdown instead of the 2 he's been getting. Jared Dagey was the quarterback for Toronto, and Toronto caught Nick Arbuckle on a heater. They won 6 games, had an off game to close it out against Montreal. But, things were looking good for the Argos. And now here comes Jared Dagey. Now, much was made about his completion percentage, at least in the early part of this game, but he ended up 25 of 37 for just 207 yards.
Which is just further proof you can have a high completion percentage but not be effective.
Yep. You can have good stats and not win, too.
All right, Drew Brown.
Oh, yeah, we did. What a baffler. We'll talk about that one in a minute. I put this down to the Montreal defense. The Toronto Argonauts offense was a little wide, but the defense allowed just 69 yards after the catch. The longest pass play went for like 13 yards, literally, in this game. And this was with our offense doing nothing. Stevie Scott, the revelation of the week last night, didn't do nothing but 73 yards on 15 touches. Like I said, McLeod Bethel Thompson threw the 2 interceptions within a minute of the second quarter. He ended up throwing another one in this game. But our defense saved us. Our defense was awesome. Even with Sean Lemon being a healthy scratch. Sankey, Beverett, Najee Murray were all awesome. Isaac Ademi Berglund. Why have we not been talking about this guy? 9 quarterback sacks this season. After that BC game, however, he's second in the league behind Matthew Betts. And I like Sutton ending the game with the interception. This is Alouettes defense. I don't know. What does Toronto do going forward? Where is Chad Kelly, Joe? Do you know? Have you got him somewhere?
No idea. They got to get a healthy quarterback and start putting up the numbers they were putting up because their defense isn't going to be good enough to keep teams to 21 points going forward, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're going to have to score more than 19 to win anything. So they're in a tough spot. It just nothing came together for them this year, and it just might be one of those years where you write it off and just go, okay, refresh and see if you can upgrade the defense. Honestly, you're fine on offense if you get either Nick Arbuckle or Chad Kelly back next year, which I'm assuming you'll get one of them, right? Chad Kelly's health is a question mark if he's not back right now. Nick Arbuckle's probably won't be going for the long-term future, but for the short term, it might knock them out of the playoffs. Their offense is going to be okay. Their defense needs a lot of help right now.
Okay. This week, we had a couple of coaching decisions that we can talk about. What else is a football podcast for? One in this game, about 90 seconds left. Argos are down 21-16. You kick the field goal?
No.
Okay. Because that's what we did here. And interestingly enough, even though they got a 2 and out, right, and they still have 1 minute left, you're going to take on the Montreal defense playing this well.
And you're asking your third string quarterback to do that too.
Right.
You're asking them to get 20 or 30 yards.
Right.
To set you up for a chance, right? Mm-hmm. A pretty good chance because, kickers are awesome these days. But, yeah, I'm not loving that. Like, you're down there. Go for the kill.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you had, and things were going your way too at that point in the game. Go for it. Take a shot.
Yeah, I really don't understand that call, to be honest. if you're conceding that the Montreal defense is beating your offense, why do you want to see them twice and have to score both times? Like, I don't get it. But that was one of the questionable calls of the week. And because it failed, of course, we can question that. We'll talk about the other questionable call a bit later on. Game 2 was pretty much the exact opposite of this. And this is the game that really got me thinking about narratives changing. BC Lions 52, Calgary Stampeders 23. This was my bad prediction of the week. I was thinking Calgary was going to win this thing. I was thinking they were going to cover the 5 points or whatever they were getting, but not even close. What a nightmare for the Stamps. What a nightmare for the Stamps. This game was a highlight reel. Specifically, it was a BC Lions Nathan Rourke highlight reel. I can get into the specifics in just a minute, but Joe, where has this BC been all season?
BC's always been able to score, right? And knocking out the opposing quarterbacks tend to help your defense, right?
Well, okay, so I mean, because they dominated the first quarter. The first 2 drives were picks. The first one extremely bad. The third one was about Vernon Adams fumbling the ball on the snap for the 2 and out. And I guess the rest of the game was your typical BC game, right? Because after the first quarter, the final score was 31-23. Right? That's a BC Lions game, right? I just didn't know how much of this to chalk up to just a nightmare game by Vernon Adams and how much to, is this awesome BC? But I'll tell you what.
Yes to all of it. Because, I mean, if you're going to hand Nathan Rourke opportunities like that early on and get behind, you're not going to catch up, right? And it kind of goes back to it really feels like we're starting to figure out that, yes, the BC defense is holding them back, but Nathan Rourke is at least close to that quarterback that BC thought he was.
Yep.
When they went ahead and clearly it did not work last season when they brought him back. They lit that season on fire, unintentionally, of course, but the long-term dividends may still pay off. We may look back on that and go, okay, was that losing that season worth having our guy for 10 years? And that answer still might be yes, right? So, yeah, if BC can ever figure out their defense and let Nathan Rourke do what he does, we're talking about them as Grey Cup contenders, right?
BC is, well, I mean, look, after this game, I'm convinced. If this week, if you had a gun to my head, I'd say BC's in the Grey Cup.
Really?
That's it. After seeing this, oh, sure. Because, I mean, now you have Vernon Adams, and that dude just got nailed in the third quarter. All right. I tell you right now, he won't play next game. I am not a doctor, and I'm not playing one on this podcast. But damn, dude, that was Tua-level stuff from him. I mean, I would be shocked if he's playing the next game. I really, really, really don't think he would. I wish I could bet on that. All right, so you've got that. Still, I'm convinced that Saskatchewan will not be playing 10-3 level ball by week 19 or week 20 of this season. I don't know. Again, narratives change quickly, but Jesus. I mean, this is feeling a lot, Joe, to me, like Winnipeg in 2019, like Toronto in 2021, and like the Owls in 2022. The team that comes on at the end of the season and parlays it next year as a machine, as a proper like football machine, right? I mean, this could be the year, I feel like, that they're going to beat the season-long better team, the Riders, in the playoffs. And I feel like they're going to make the bowl. This feels like the 10-8 team that wins the Grey Cup. And next year they're going to start like 11-0. and then not necessarily win. Because again,
if you handed me that scenario for entertainment in November while I'm freezing my butt off in Winnipeg, I'd say, yeah, that sounds entertaining. Let's do that.
I wish I knew that they were going to be in the Grey Cup, because I'd take the over right now. Even I don't care how cold it is, I'd take the over right now, because that would be one of those great 90s, 50-41, Grey Cups. It would be fantastic. You would be highly entertained, BC against anybody in the Grey Cup. I guess the real entertaining one would be like BC versus Winnipeg, right? Winnipeg on the crossover.
We'll see.
Yeah, I would not doubt that scenario either. Again, like, I'm all jumbled up. Although I'm going to just blow past this game. Let's just say, wow, BC is freaking scary. And I am personally very disappointed in Calgary, not just because they lost me money, but because they made me look so bad. Third game is Winnipeg Blue Bombers 26, Ottawa Redblacks 18. Well, okay. Joe, I got to get your thoughts on this one. Pyrrhic victory?
I'll pass. Winnipeg won't, but I will.
Wow. Okay.
Holy cow. Like, no, there's no Pyrrhic victory there. Like, Winnipeg went into a game where they had no right to be there, and no right to win the game the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
They had no offense to speak of. And their defense and special teams just said, don't worry about it. We got this one.
Well, I mean, Brady had a good game.
He did.
Oliveira contributed. And the truth is that Strevler had a good game on the ground.
Sure. I mean, if you're going to run this kind of offense, though, like, why even bother pretending to pass? Let's just line them up and run the triple.
Yeah.
Just be done with it.
Yeah. Just go Wildcat the whole game.
I mean, and they got 11 first downs the entire game.
Yep.
Like 210 yards net offense.
Just one completion in the first half. One
completion until like midway through the fourth quarter. Like, how? But Ottawa just was determined not to win the game. They just kept making mistakes, handing the ball over. Drew Brown was overthrowing receivers in key situations. They were settling for field goals that they were missing. I mean, Lewis Ward was missing field goals, which means they were having a really bad day. Mm-hmm. And they turned around and the missed field goals ended up killing them, because Winnipeg turned it into 7 points. And then the second time they turned it into great field position that Ottawa had to dig out of again.
Yep.
I watched every second of that game, and I'm like flabbergasted looking back, seeing that Drew Brown had like over 400 yards passing. It didn't feel like it.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, they would move the ball and then make nothing of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about the last second touchdown meaning anything? It clearly didn't. So,
I mean,
my goodness.
Talk about, we did this last week too, but you talk about one play that turns the game. It was a 128-yard missed field goal return. Now, how do you get more than that? Because they mentioned that this was the all-time Winnipeg Blue Bombers record.
You basically have to have your heel near the
right
end
on the line. I mean, that went from, first of all, Ottawa wins the first quarter, which I think is the second time they've done that this season. Win the first quarter, and then they start the second quarter with the field goal attempt. But instead of it being 10-0, it's 7-7. And that was it. That kept Winnipeg in the game, because you knew they weren't going to do anything, even if it was competitive. So, I mean, the other key play was Strevler getting the 35-yard run, right?
Helped. It's the only really positive thing he did at offense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then he followed it up with the 1-yard touchdown, which used to be his specialty. Yeah, I got to say your special teams was heroic.
Absolutely. They played a fantastic game.
Yeah. Yep.
Special teams played a great game. Really, what it comes down to, though, is Winnipeg was a team that executed when it mattered and Ottawa didn't.
Yep.
And this is the formula that Winnipeg's used for years.
Right.
And the old formula was they'd go up 14-0 in the first quarter and then win this way. Except they scored the 17 in the second quarter, which is unusual because they don't usually score at all in the second or third quarters, right?
Right, and usually Ottawa's
and then they just squeeze them like they were just a snake, squeeze the life out of their opponents the whole rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Except that Ottawa kept just handing them the ability to do that. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a game. I probably have, but not one that doesn't. There's not one that comes to memory at the moment where both fan bases were universally negative about how their team played.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like Winnipeg fans are just sitting there going, "Well, that was a gift," and Ottawa fans are going, "How the hell did we lose this one?"
I gotta say, I mean, if this had been the NFL, we would have had this stat. Okay, so here it is. Drew Brown, 33 of 45, 406 yards.
Didn't feel like it.
Chris Streveler, 3 of 8 for 54. Did it feel like 54?
54 feels high.
Right, exactly. So I'm sure that had this happened in the NFL, they'd already have a stat. No team has ever had a quarterback that threw for more than 350 yards more than the opposition and lost. I'm sure that's a statistic. This has got to be the biggest quarterback differential I've ever seen by a losing team on any level of football. I mean, that's insane.
That might be the worst 400-yard passing game I've ever seen out of a quarterback.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, absolutely crazy. I mean, so you wouldn't put it down so much to, I mean, look, the final score with 0 seconds left was 26-11. I mean, and so you would put this mostly down to the function of just Ottawa
decided not to win that game.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And they're still in the running for the East title.
At least they cannot win the East anymore, like at least in the regular season.
Okay. So they've already been eliminated from that possibility.
Yes, only them and Edmonton can't win their division at this point. Although I don't know about the tiebreaker between Toronto and Hamilton offhand. Toronto might not either. But like everybody else is at least in play for it somehow, some way. Some of these are mathematical and theoretical, but some of them are not. So,
okay. So I got a couple of questions for you here. Which one would you like better, the fun one or the not so fun one?
Let's start with not so fun, so I can have some fun.
No, the not so fun one. Okay. You're not really expecting this next week, are you, when they get Hamilton 2 weeks after the loss?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
I mean, Zach did practice a little bit this past week, so that means he's not walking off into the sunset.
Okay.
Planning to, right?
Okay.
So, I mean, if he comes back and plays, there's a non-zero chance, right? I mean, Hamilton's defense hasn't been spectacular. Their offense is pretty good. I mean, they're a good team, but Winnipeg can be a good team sometimes if they decide not to shoot themselves in the foot, right? I mean, we just saw it this past week, right? They were a good team, except they literally did not have a quarterback. They had a fullback playing quarterback, right? Oh, yeah. So Winnipeg has the potential to be a good team. Hamilton is a good team. I mean, they could win if Zach plays. But Hamilton's not going to roll over like Ottawa just did, right?
Well, one would suspect not. Who's your number 3 in Winnipeg?
Terry Wilson.
Oh, right.
Who threw a pass in the Grey Cup last year because we were desperate at the moment. Zach's finger was like 2-1, which wasn't great. Yeah, I've seen him in the preseason a few times. It seems like his go-to is it almost looks like he's bouncing on his like tiptoes the whole time. And like I don't think I've ever like the thing I've seen him do more often than not is the dump off over the middle. I mean, they were when he played when I saw him play in the preseason, they were on the road against a team that had more of their starters and second stringers playing, and Winnipeg had brought like their third string guys only or whatever. But it was just like I could picture 5 or 6 of the same thing going on. Like functional, looked like he could play a little bit, but like I don't think they have a lot of expectation for him. Because if they had, they would have put him out there sometime over the past few weeks, right?
Well, yeah. Stuck with Strevler as the third down back. Okay.
He's good at actually, Terry Wilson's good at the third down situation, right? He's actually pretty good at it.
No, yeah.
Whenever Strevler's a starter, it's usually Wilson doing the third down stuff. So Strevler get beat up more than he usually does.
Yeah, not this week though. I think they were afraid that they might have needed Wilson.
I mean, if you were ever going to pull a quarterback, this was the time because Strevler threw 8 passes, but they probably called like 25 pass plays, right? I mean, did you see?
Could be.
Yeah. If you were watching the game, like second down was okay. Strevler drops back, looks at one guy, and tries to take off. That's what he did the whole time. Right. They didn't call any plays to like roll him out or all season. When they knew Strevler was the starter, they would put in a package that got him on the move and used his mobility to open up the defense. They called a game that was meant for Zach for Strevler this past week. I've seen a lot of harping about Hogan as a first-year offensive coordinator. I've liked what I've seen for the most part, especially being a young guy like he is.
Sure.
This week, he did not call a game that was suited for his talent.
Okay. All right. The other question is a bit of a rhetorical one, but I couldn't help thinking about it this week. Don't you think the CFL should track blocked passes? I'm not talking about like knockdowns. I'm saying like, say you're within 2 yards of the quarterback. Because, man, they got to create a stat for Willie Jefferson.
For like hurries?
He gets 2 or 3 of these a game.
Well, yeah. I mean, they count him the same way as a DB would knock it down, right?
Oh, so they count it as a knockdown?
Yeah, okay. He's climbing the ranks. He's climbing the ranks throughout in league history. Like he's among some of the better.
I bet there is
in the league doing that.
He must
right?
be. He must be. Yeah, I mean, if you actually had blocked passes, I mean, he'd be number 1 by a long shot. I mean, it's wild. It's just he's a singular talent in this.
It's how he's adapted his game to not being able to get to the quarterback anymore. He has 3 sacks this year, and one of them was because Drew Brown decided not to get rid of the ball this last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's not
dead on.
Him and Vaughters, you would think with those names on the edges, you'd get a lot more push than you do, but Winnipeg doesn't have a pass rush this year at all. It's just not there. So what Willie will do is he'll go upfield, bump the tackle. If he doesn't think he's got a straight lane, he'll just drop back into like a short zone coverage and stick his arms up, and he'll get a couple of those knockdowns a game. Yeah. It's not what you're paying him for. At the same time, it's helpful.
Yeah, very, very.
If you want to see this if you want to see this at its best, go see the game where Toronto was in Winnipeg and just watch like the last 5 minutes because Nick Arbuckle kept throwing it right over Willie, and Willie's just like, nope.
Yeah. When you see that guy, don't throw it over him. Okay, so my least favorite game of the week, Joe, was this last one. Hamilton Tiger Cats 29, Edmonton Oaks 27. What is your pity meter for Edmonton at this point?
It's just
how
what they've been doing.
are you?
I feel for them. They just got to figure out how to win these games that they get into late.
God. Oh, my God. This game, they played it so well. I mean, this team is dead last in turnovers, and they won the turnover battle 2-0. They did not turn it over once. Fajardo was getting nailed there quite often. I think there was 4 sacks in this game by Hamilton. But nevertheless, through the 3 quarters, Edmonton had 1 punt against Hamilton's 1 punt, to be fair. But, they ended up punting it 3 times in the fourth quarter. It's like you said, they didn't close it out. Now, the second controversial decision in this game is, you're down 27-26 from your own 50. Do you go for it on 3rd and 10?
That's tougher. The last game. So the first one we talked about was 3rd and 4, right? This is 3rd and 10.
Right.
Do you trust your defense?
No. Hamilton, you don't.
Okay.
So you have to go for it.
So then you're trusting your offense to make 1 play for the game, but it's 10 yards and they know it, right? Mm-hmm. That's a tougher, dicier decision. That one I'm okay with either way. I know Edmonton fans wanted to be aggressive and go for it, and Edmonton's in a situation where aggression makes sense. At the same time, you miss that, and Hamilton is right on your doorstep.
Yeah,
they don't need to go down the field on you to set up that field goal. They need 1 first down instead of like 4.
And fortunately for them, fortunately for Hamilton, Edmonton went 3-0. I mean, they really had a terrible fourth quarter.
They did. I mean, and that plays into the decision too, right? Your offense is not moving the ball at all.
Yeah.
Are you taking that shot?
Yeah.
I'll defend kill him. I think that was a tough decision to make. Obviously, you wish the result would have been different, but given what the factors were going into that with the offense sputtering and the fact that your defense would have only needed to give up 1 first down to set you up for a loss, that makes sense. What they did made sense. 3rd and 5, it's a different story, I think. But 3rd and 10, the further away you get, the easier it is to justify the punt.
Well, I guess you're right, because Edmonton really did fall apart in that fourth quarter. I mean, the last score of the game, the last score by Edmonton was a field goal after Jamal Peters had that. After Jamal Peters, last week he had that pick 6 against Winnipeg. Last week. He got that helmet-to-helmet call on Arkell Smith, and it was just like, that was the last time Edmonton scored, was after that. They gave him 15 yards for that, kept that drive alive. But, I mean, that was basically the best play of the fourth quarter. So, yeah, you may be right. I don't know. My sympathy meter for Edmonton is pretty high.
Well, they're in Groundhog Day. They've been stuck in the same pattern for years. Now, they've taken it, instead of starting 0-7, 0-8, they're starting 1-3, 1-4, getting better throughout the season. You can watch it, and then they're getting close to where they need to be to get into the playoff spot, and then they just give out. They don't have quite enough to come back from what they had. Different quarterbacks, different coaching staffs, different everything, every single year. The results are the same. They need some stability and they need some trust right now. Internally, because externally it's not happening, right? They got to win to restore trust. At this point, though, you keep recycling things, you keep making big changes. You're just going to be back on the same treadmill, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, look, one of their best discoveries of last season was Justin Rankin. Again, I feel like this might be the only consolation for this season for Elks fan, is that, Justin Rankin is confirmed to be a stud.
Well, they have a quarterback now. They have a star back now. Yep. They have some receiving talent. They have some defenders that can play. They're better than they were last year.
Yes. Yep. But they're already looking at next year, right?
They are.
Next year. Nice 77-yard breakaway run by Rankin early.
And they were in a situation, too, think about it, where if Ottawa shows up and Hamilton doesn't make that field goal at the end, they're tied with Winnipeg, right? Now they're two back.
Yeah. And the East sweeps. So instead what we get is, the East has gotten much tighter. The West is getting tight now too, because Calgary lost. So actually, for intrigue, the better results came out. Although Hamilton really could have lost here. Edmonton. I feel bad. I mean, just, again, one more time talking about that narrative switching from week to week. Last week we were talking about how, Toronto has won 2 in the last second. Now we're talking about, Edmonton has lost 2 in the last second. So not a great look for Edmonton, but they haven't had a great look in a while. Okay, now let's talk next week's games. Okay, so wait. For playoff scenarios, what do we have? Because I was looking at this and I was trying to figure it out. Of course,
the league put them out really late last week.
Yeah.
So we're definitely, with the early recording, we don't have the official ones.
Yeah.
But it looks like Hamilton is just based off of reading the standings. Their magic number is 1 for the playoffs, right?
Yes.
They win 1 or Toronto loses 1 and they're in, because they can't be caught for 3rd at that point. Yep. So they're going to finish 1st or 2nd in the East. That's that, right?
Yep.
Edmonton doesn't matter in this scenario because, once Toronto goes out, there's no crossover possibility, right?
Right. And I like the way you like to do these things. The worst that Hamilton can do is 9-9.
Right.
And so already we know Ottawa won't catch them. They already have 10 losses. And one more loss by Toronto would put them at maximum, 8-10.
Right.
The best they could do if they lose 1 more. So magic number for Hamilton in the playoffs is 1, I guess.
Yep.
1 with Toronto. Now, what's wild is that because Saskatchewan lost last time, they're still only 2 up on Calgary.
2 up on Calgary. Yep.
Yeah, this could take a while.
Then with 5 left for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
So ignoring the fact that Calgary doesn't have a quarterback right now, based off the injuries we're seeing, because BJ Walker's also out and done from the sounds of. Vernon is, we don't know yet. It's early, but you have to guess that Vernon's out at least a week or 2.
Certainly didn't look good. Certainly did not look good.
Yeah. So we're talking the theoretical, but they're 2 back with 5 to go with Saskatchewan. So it's mathematically it's there. They can do it. I'm trying to remember if Saskatchewan has tiebreakers over BC, but really Saskatchewan's like one away from making sure that Winnipeg doesn't win the West.
Saskatchewan, of course, they have the tiebreaker over BC because they've only lost to Calgary.
Well, have they played BC enough yet?
Yeah, I'm trying.
I don't. I'm trying to. I can't.
I don't know if they've clinched the tiebreaker, right? I would not want to be
because BC Saskatchewan's the final week of the season.
Oof. Oh boy. I would not want to be the Riders playing that week. That's for sure.
In BC too, because I think, just looking for green on the schedule here, we won in BC, 33-27. And they have the tiebreaker for Winnipeg and BC. So Saskatchewan, from what I am seeing here, clinches a home game, because the scenario last week was a BC loss and Winnipeg loss and Edmonton loss. Saskatchewan clinches a home playoff date. And Saskatchewan was on the bye.
Right.
It looks like to me that their magic number is 1 with both Winnipeg and BC then. So any Saskatchewan win over the next 5 games or any loss by Winnipeg or BC, and Saskatchewan is hosting a playoff game. Whether or not that's the West Final or West Semi, Calgary has a lot more to say about that.
Right.
But right now that just means that we're looking at Saskatchewan hosting a home playoff game is the very most likely scenario. So that one is going to be in play for sure.
Yeah.
All they need is Hamilton's playoff berth is obviously that close now. For some reason, I don't understand what the scenario could have possibly been. But Toronto and BC and Hamilton are losing, and Hamilton winning was going to clinch Hamilton a playoff berth. Although I don't know how that plays out unless they're also factoring in what could happen next in the coming weeks and already have factored that in. Again, we've talked about Hamilton already. They're that close to clinching, but I don't see how BC getting to 8 losses would have helped them, especially with Calgary being the team that they were playing. Like, that doesn't make any sense
because
to me whatsoever.
BC plays Toronto at least once more,
possibly.
Probably one of them.
Yeah, exactly. This next week, yes. So
that's what
that makes a little bit more sense to me.
So one of them would have had to have lost.
Right.
And that game. So unless it's a tie, and who knows what happens in that case. But.
Right, because the BC loss would have put them at 8, and then Toronto or BC losing would have put Hamilton.
Right.
I finally figured that out as to why that makes sense. I don't think that scenario is in play this week, though, because if BC loses, Hamilton still needs to win. So
yeah, Saskatchewan wins, and the worst they can be is 11-7. They win all tiebreakers against the other 2 teams. Calgary could still beat them for first, but the worst Saskatchewan would be is second.
Right. Same thing with Hamilton. Looks like a win or a Toronto loss, and the worst they are is second. So
God, why didn't they lose this week?
Because that would have made you happy, and football is supposed to make us sad, right?
I can't have nice things. Come on,
that's what we're saying. Like if Toronto beats BC this week, I think it still would come down to Hamilton winning for this week. Obviously, I mean we got weeks to go yet, so. But I don't think
Toronto's not going to win.
Let's see. I wonder if Ottawa could be eliminated this week. They don't play.
I think so. No, they
don't play. So Ottawa's at 10 losses. Montreal could win to be 8-10. And that's a likely scenario. They do play. Okay, they can't be eliminated because Ottawa and Montreal have 2 more to go that way.
Yeah.
And they cannot, like, playing the super theoretical here. If Winnipeg and BC both lose out, they could still cross over, in that magic land where Winnipeg and BC decide to stop playing games and Ottawa wins everything,
Unless they play each other.
Yeah, so Ottawa, Winnipeg and BC don't. They were done with each other in like week 3. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I don't think Ottawa could be eliminated this week, but their road could get super treacherous if Montreal wins, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
right now with Ottawa, you're starting to talk about next year. I wouldn't plan on being in the playoffs.
It's ironic because Ottawa is one of the few teams with their starting quarterback still standing.
Well, he wasn't standing these past few weeks, so.
Speaking of standing again, I should say. Yeah.
Even him throwing 400 yards isn't going to be a guarantee of success.
I guess not. Right? Yeah. Join the 400 club, throw for 400 and lose to a guy that threw less than 100. Okay, so let's talk about next week's games. We start with the Calgary Stampeders starting a 3rd-string quarterback at Montreal Alouettes, probably starting our 2nd-string quarterback. You know what? Montreal just came off a 5-game losing streak. I think we're gonna win this game as well. as good as Calgary defense has been all season, I just don't think they're going to have enough. I think you might want to go under on this one again if you're betting it. But I'm going to take Montreal to win outright.
Yeah,
Montreal might be back.
I am too.
Mm-hmm.
Although we have proven the theory you don't actually need a quarterback to win a CFL game.
Yeah,
so you don't necessarily need to worry about that anymore. I guess if you're playing Ottawa anyway. But yeah, I'm not going to take an untested third string quarterback against Montreal's defense on the road. That weird things can happen. I mean, Vernon could play next week, and that would change the calculus somewhat. But even then, I'm thinking Montreal wins, right?
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I think that Noel Thorpe can call a game plan for Vernon Adams. I think he knows something about the man. All right, second game here. And, okay, so this one is Toronto Argonauts at BC Lions. Now, I may be suffering from recency bias, but I think BC looks really good, and I think Toronto has been eking out these wins and eked out the loss last week. So I don't know. I'm looking for BC to spin scoreboards for the rest of the year. BC, yeah. I think they're going to win by a lot.
Same thing. Toronto can put up points when they have healthy quarterbacks. Their defense doesn't tend to like to stop other people very much if they're capable. And they're on the road in a late slot on the West Coast. BC seems like the clear and obvious favorite here. So let's watch and see how BC collapses. Because that would be such a BC thing to do, though, right?
At home.
Like this one is as close to gift wrap as it gets in the league. And these are the types of games BC whiffs on, right?
They certainly did last time. Now let's see. Hold on just a minute here. I'm scrolling back. I want to find.
I'm even thinking over the past couple of years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. So they played each other in week 12, 52-34. You said Toronto can score points when they have a quarterback in there. Yeah, I think so. 52 against this same BC team. I really don't think you're going to see 86 points in this game.
But, no, probably just like 65 or something like that.
Yeah, see, it could be.
I mean, BC could put up 50 by themselves if they feel like
it. See, these days I would not be surprised to see a 50-12 or something like that up there.
I was going to say 50-15, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 50-11. Get in that good Canadian score. A
Grey Cup score for that matter. That's not even Grey Cup score it got me.
All right. Then we have Hamilton Tiger Cats at Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Joe, I would really love for your Bombers to win.
I would love that too. I don't expect it, but I'd love it. I'm actually going to miss this one because of a long-standing family commitment I have. So I might be, if Zach doesn't come back this week and we have the same lineup go against that played against Ottawa, play against Hamilton, I might be happy I missed it. On the other hand, I might come home and say, I need to see how they managed to do it this time.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to take Hamilton because logic. On the same time, it's like, well, I'd love to see it, but I don't expect it.
I was really looking for a way to pick Winnipeg here, but I really couldn't.
I mean, if Zach comes back, the calculus changes. I don't think it changes enough for me, but it definitely changes.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that, last week, Bo Levi-Mitchell did an interview. I forget where it was, but it ended up getting to Yahoo News. In which he was just talking about how the team lacks maturity, right? Which I thought was kind of a cocksure thing to say, as we used to say. And then they get the ball with a minute left. And they're going to score. I mean, that's the thing. Bo Levi-Mitchell now has this offense, at least, looking like those old Calgary offenses used to look. And it's just like, this team will not die. with
where they
Bo
weren't spinning the scoreboard necessarily.
No,
but when the chips
but if
were
they get the
down,
ball in
you
the
knew
fourth,
they were going to beat you.
Right.
They'd beat you 30-27, and you'd feel like we were that close. But then you look back at it and go, well, when they had the ball there, I knew they were going to beat us, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, they use this awful cliche, the team that has the ball last is going to win. Well, it's just like, yeah, I mean, Hamilton is that team. I mean, right now, with Bo Levy at quarterback. I mean, this guy he's fourth quarter gold, And so, the way that Winnipeg has not been scoring points in the second half, I can't see it. Even if this is a close game, Bombers are still going to lose, So.
And when have you been able to say that in the last 5 years?
Not liking that for the Bombers. Okay, so finally we have Saskatchewan Roughriders back from the bye. Last game of the weekend, so they get the extra long bye week at Edmonton Elks. Wow. Now, see, again, I'm trying to cook up scenarios for Edmonton to win this game after, throwing away these games in the last 2 weeks. And this season, the Riders have had that tendency. They have been doing this year, where they're really stepping on the throat lately. Beginning of the season, they were kind of messing around a bit in the fourth quarter, but now they look like they have that killer instinct as long as they're leading in the fourth quarter. So I don't even know if Edmonton's going to get a chance to get up a big lead and then throw it away in this one.
I was going to say, I could see this just being that game where Edmonton comes out and just dominates. And you're like, where was this all year? Sure. And it doesn't help them in the end, but it's one of those things like, oh, we'll look forward to next year. Yeah, Saskatchewan hasn't really had a letdown game this year. It could be that kind of thing. I'm not picking it, but like I could see it happen. Make Edmonton be 6-9, have them go, well, maybe we can make the playoffs, and then have that dream die just a little bit later than it usually would, right?
Yeah. See, this is the bettor's trap, right? Just because you can imagine a scenario doesn't mean it's going to happen.
No, God, no.
But I mean, the Riders have not lost 2 in a row all season. They got pretty humiliated by the Owls in week 15, had the bye. Again, teams haven't been awesome coming out of the bye this year in the CFL. Look at Calgary this week. My God. And but still, Edmonton to me feels like Ottawa, i.e. snakebit this year. So unfortunately, I'm going to take the Riders. And then let's see, next week at Ottawa. Oh, no, maybe I got to take Edmonton. I'm going with my grand unifying theory here. Well, Saskatchewan could lose the last 2. All right, I'm going to go Edmonton.
Okay. Glad I talked you into it because I'm not.
Yeah, I talked myself into that one. No, I just believe that the Riders have got to lose some games. I refuse to believe that the Riders are going to finish this season 15-3. They're not that good.
So, well, I mean, they could drop games at the end after they've clinched, right?
Yeah, perhaps. But, playing Toronto, playing Winnipeg. Toronto may be eliminated. Anyway, all right. Well, great. Well, I'm looking forward to this next week, I got to say. This is, we won't have any playoff scenarios, too many playoff scenarios figured out, but I think we'll have even more answers.
Yeah, we'll start getting some separation between some of these teams. Like the teams at the bottom have started to separate away from the pack. Saskatchewan is separated away from the pack. The mushy middle is going to start figuring itself out too.
Yeah, but much of the middle is mushy. Yes. I mean, you've got 6 teams within 2 games of 500. So there's a lot of that middling going on.
I think we're at 5 or 4 now because Hamilton's separated away. Calgary's a little bit up above, and still got 3 teams at 7-7 though.
I would still be. I'm fully expecting for BC to get blown out by Toronto and Edmonton to win, and probably Trevor Harris will go down to injury this week because I don't know how he's avoided it this year. So, and then of course I'll have to revise all my narratives. I'll be convinced that Montreal is going to win the Grey Cup again next week. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a trailer for what you'll be hearing on the next episode of the Rouge, White, Blue. Until
tune in for us to be sad.
Right, exactly. For me to be sad, no way. Montreal's going to destroy it this week. In any case, I'm Oz Davis. For my co-host Joe Pritchard, this has been the Rouge, White, Blue CFL podcast, a Shotgun Sports Network production. Enjoy the games, everyone, and we will see you next week.